Alright, so let's dispel this myth right now. There's no such thing as being too old to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So the reason I'm making this video is because this is a thing that I've kind of heard tossed around a lot, whether it's just at local card shops or at school or work or kind of just wherever around, by the by. And this idea that, someone can be too old to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's kind of a mindset, a thought process that people have had for years. It's the reason that, we see lots of things like bullying, things like ridicule, and just kind of this whole negative mindset and stigma around people, adults mainly, who play this game. And I just think it's completely unwarranted. I actually made a post about it on my APS Facebook page and stuff like that, and a lot of people agreed. I don't think that there's too old an age to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I honestly don't even think there's too young an age, but I guess it's sort of a different conversation for a different time. So let's break it down, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! Is, it's, some people would say a children's card game, but I think that honestly, that's kind of one of those like little memes that needs to, I don't want to say die, but it's kind of dated and it's really not all that funny anymore. I think a lot of people say it unironically, with the whole idea of like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are a bunch of adults, playing a game for children and wasting their money on this game that's meant for kids and taking it too seriously and all that stuff. But really, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just a hobby. It's no different than any other hobby, and there's nothing wrong with investing time. There's nothing wrong with investing money. There's nothing wrong with, traveling or anything for the sake of this game. If it's something you like, I think that that's totally reasonable. Treat it like collecting, anything that you're into, whether it's a sport, whether it's like just sort of collecting models or figures or, just kind of whatever. Like, no matter what you like, you put money into it. If you're like a technophile like me, I like tech. I'll buy, gadgets and gizmos because I think it's really cool. If you're the type of person who likes watching sports, a lot of people, they'll invest in jerseys and, just all this different stuff. I think that it's one of those things where, people get this idea that just because it's like an anime or just because it's like based on a television show or whatever, that it's immature. And Pokemon and Magic, I guess, get a similar stigma, but I feel like with Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes it's just worse. Yu-Gi-Oh! In addition to just being a fun hobby, is also something that really is quite well suited for an adult. It's a pretty complicated game. It's not exactly easy to play it competitively or even really just competently at all. There's a lot of reading involved, there's a lot of strategy involved, a lot of math involved, and it's not something that maybe your average person could just completely hop right into. And so I think that it's actually kind of, venerable that somebody can play this game and be good at it. In addition to that, I mean, it's competition. A lot like what I said with, say sports or any type of dance or whatever, you can play Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively and reap rewards. Competition is a good thing no matter what it is. I think it's great when, somebody can take something that they enjoy, something that they're good at, and compete in it. Like, esports is something that's like growing recently, and so I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really no different. Traveling to events is cool, and winning events and outplaying your opponent, out strategizing is really neat. In addition to the fact that you're socializing, right? There's a lot of benefits to it. When you go to even just your local card shop or you just meet up with your friends, it's a social event. Not everybody seems to see it that way. I mean, sometimes, people can be antisocial or sometimes they don't care about their hygiene, but just, by and large, I would say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a social event. You are interacting with people, and so there's nothing wrong with that. I think that that's totally cool. In addition to that, you get to travel through Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think that as a hobby, that makes it great. And, you have to be pretty much an adult if you're gonna be traveling independently. And so let's talk a little bit about that whole adult part. I think that something that a lot of people forget is that as an adult, you can literally do whatever you want and really nobody should be judging you for it. Once you're an adult, once you live on your own or you're making your own money or whatever, it really doesn't matter what you do with your time. If that's what makes you happy, that's great. And I mean, even if you're a teenager, I think that, if you choose to spend your money on the game, that's totally fine. It's honestly a hell of a lot better than being like some kid who's out on drugs or, just doing whatever. Like, it's doing dangerous stuff or getting into trouble and crime. Yu-Gi-Oh! Keeps kids out of the street. I know like personal stories of people, Trell, for instance, he's mentioned in videos before, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Kept him out of trouble growing up. And you know, like, so he really kind of has that to thank for being the person he is today. And he's not the only one. I mean, I've met literally loads of people, and for a lot of people, it's also just a really good time sink, because it's not so much that they're like a bad person, but you know, if they don't have something to occupy their time, then maybe they'll find their way into less, you know, not so good addictions or not so good interests. And so if it's something that can keep you off the streets or keep you out of trouble, then all the better. You know, in addition to the fact that like what you realize growing up, and this is something I've realized growing up, is maybe in like junior high school or high school, people maybe don't think that Yu-Gi-Oh is the thing, you know, it's not cool, it's nerdy, it's lame. But like I said, when you become an adult, you really kind of gotta like just look out for number one, like do what makes you happy. And this isn't meant to sound like a sob story or some cheesy inspirational speech. I mean, like, literally do what makes you happy. It's your fucking money. Like, spend it however you want. It's your life. Do what you want with it. It's your friends. If people don't want to be friends with you because of it, or, you know, something like that, or they're judging you, then that's just not the type of person you have to be around. And the best part about being an adult is, generally speaking, if you don't want to be around somebody, or, you know, you don't want to be at a certain place or in a certain lifestyle, you can kind of just choose not to be, you know, in most cases. And so I really think that this whole idea that Yu-Gi-Oh is only for kids just kind of blows my mind. I mean, literally most of the friends I have that play Yu-Gi-Oh are older than me. You know, Trell's several years older than me. Chris and Calvin, you know, they're a few years older than me. And a lot of the people at my card shop are, you know, in their late 20s, early 30s. There was, you know, one anecdotal story. I remember a few years ago at our card shop, there were these two old guys, and they showed up, and they were like, you know, actually, you know, pretty up there in the years, maybe 50s or 60s. And they were super enthusiastic about playing the game. And at first I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, you know, they're way too old to be playing this. But then when I played against them and saw like the enthusiasm and the interest, and like, you know, they had these decks and they had their collections with them and they liked it so much, I was like, you know, I kind of want to be that too. I kind of want to be, you know, I want to get, like, when I'm older, still enjoy the things that I liked as a kid. If they're still interesting to me, then I want to be the guy who, you know, takes pride in his hobbies. And these guys really did. I mean, you know, they had a lot of their special cards in like top loaders and like glass protectors, and you know, they had like, it was, you know, at a glance, yeah, maybe it seems a little bit weird to have like, you know, all this luggage type of stuff with your cards in it and have all these deck boxes. But honestly and truly, I mean, we're all nerds, and I really don't think that age has very much to do with it. And you know, another related thing I think I want to talk about with that is that, you know, people will always say Yu-Gi-Oh players are immature, and like they won't say the same thing about, say, Magic players. They say, oh, Magic players are more mature than Yu-Gi-Oh players. It's an older audience. And yes, most of the people who play Magic are older, but I don't think that really, like, that's kind of a conundrum, because like, if Magic is so nerdy, but the people who play it are older and more mature, then what's wrong with the same person choosing to play Yu-Gi-Oh? I mean, like, I don't know, if I might not be making sense here, but just basically what I'm saying is, there's really nothing wrong with playing what you want to play, no matter your age. And, you know, it's your money, it's your life. We can talk about the money part too. I would say that, you know, people are like, oh, it's a waste of money. But when you're an adult, it's your money. Do what you want with it. And it's what I think that really people kind of are mistaking as being too old to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They're mistaking it for not being financially responsible. And that's different. I've actually made a video about that. You should watch it. But there's a difference between, you know, being too old to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus just not being a responsible adult with your money. If you were choosing to, you know, dump a load of money into expensive Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards and neglect, you know, your bills or your family life or your social life or your health, then that's different. But that doesn't mean you're too old to play. That means that you as a person are immature or incompetent and can't take care of yourself. It doesn't mean that anybody who's 30 or anybody who's 40 or anybody who's 20 or whatever is too old to be playing this game. That's just kind of one of those classic cases of one person kind of getting the whole sort of group this bad reputation, and that's just not true. So yeah, I don't know. I don't even like, I feel like it's one of those things that it's such an old stigma. It's not something that's gonna like change immediately, but really, honestly and truly, most people I play Yu-Gi-Oh with are even older than me, and they're all totally normal, reasonable people. They have good reasons for playing this game, and that's just the way it is. And I think that really kind of applies to anyone. There's no too old to play Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, sorry I went on so long. I really wanted this video to be short, but I just kind of got in my feelings. So that's it. Hope you guys liked it. What do you guys think? Is there like an age that's too old to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Or is that just a stupid stigma, just a stupid, you know, children's card game? Is that just a dumb meme that needs to die? Because I honestly think it does. Yeah. This is part of the summer of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where I do upload a video every single day this summer with me and my friends, so subscribe, make sure you don't miss it. You'll want to watch yesterday's video, and of course, stick around for tomorrow's video. I'm going to be giving away some boxes. At 70,000 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away a box of Pendulum Evolution, and at 75,000, we're going to be giving away a box of, what's that new set? Battles of Legend, Light's Revenge. So share the channel with your friends if you liked it, share the video, like, all that nice stuff. It's a great way to support me, and once we reach those subscriber milestones, we'll be doing those giveaways, so that's gonna be a lot of fun too. I think that's all I have to say, so without further ado, I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.